What's up, guys? All right, we finished up getting 26 guys. I think 5 of them went back, which those are the guys I want to talk about first because I haven't had an opportunity to meet with you guys since those guys have been on campus. But overall, pretty happy with what we got. 26 guys all together. We got 14 on offense, 12 on defense. When you look at it, there really wasn't any area that we just, had to stockpile. But if you look at the class going from, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 4 O linemen, 1 tight end, 6 receivers, 3 D linemen, 3 linebackers, 4 safeties, and 2 corners, there was a little bit of everything, which was kind of what we're after. And recruiting is not an exact science to the point to where you can just dictate exactly what you get at the end. You got to take what you got. But as far as the balance, guys, we're really excited about where we're at with it. If you look, and a lot has been made of this as far as where we're going to get our guys from. And I told y'all that wasn't going to change too much from what we've done in the past. Right now, we've got 11 from Florida, 4 from Ohio. 4 from Texas, 3 from Maryland, 2 from Jersey, and 1 each from Minnesota and Pennsylvania. So, need to be able to take care of the surrounding areas from West Virginia, but also get down into Florida. And, I do think that the Orange Bowl helped, create a lot of excitement down there. You had those buses driving around, and a lot of those kids went to the game and all that. So that's as many as we've ever got out of Florida. And then Texas continues to be a state that we're going to continue to get into based on where we want to pull some kids from going into the Big 12 conference. So the five guys that are on campus right now: Emarje Albury is a defensive tackle, big strong guy, played at Northwestern High School down in Miami. Was a force for them for a couple of years, and excited to have him on campus. We got Ford Childress, who played at Kincaid School, big tall guy. He's been, he's been in a passing offense for the last 3 years and understands what we do offensively, and beat a lot of people out. Beat him out. A lot of people from, all the way from the West Coast to the East Coast. So excited to have him up here. We have Sean Walters, who's a big, tall, lean safety, 6'2". 195, didn't play his junior year, came back from that and had a heck of a senior year. Is a rangy guy that can cover a lot of ground play safety, be able to probably gain some weight and be able to move down to an outside linebacker at some point as well. Jordan Thompson is a slot, comes from Katy High School, which has won about 95% of their games over the last decade or two, but comes from a very good program. Was the second leading receiver in the city of Houston. Is not a very big guy, but as we found out last year with Dustin, you come in and you get into a program, you're going to gain weight, and as long as you can play, you're going to be able to play. So we look forward for him to be able to go through the spring. Carl Joseph is the 5th guy, has been doing an unbelievable job in the weight room. It's not going to take him long to adjust physically. He's 5'9", 190 pounds. Has got muscles sticking out everywhere. You can see on film that he'll be able to come up and hit you, and should adjust. But we did need a little bit of help at inside receiver and safety, as well as we all know at quarterback we got 2 bodies. So those 5 guys will be able to come in and help us right away in the spring. And they're down there throwing weights around right now, and able to get out there and do a lot of good things in the spring. Moving on to the guys that will be here in June, we've told the rest of these guys, which there's 21 of them, the rest of these guys to be ready to finish the season strong, finish the academic year strong, finish up their academics, and then join the team June 10th, which June 10th will be kind of the first day that they will be able to get in the summer session. And as long as their academics in order, we look forward to getting these guys on campus. Christian Brown, D tackle out of New Jersey. He only played 1 year up in New Jersey. He's a big body, is a strong kid. Played down in Florida for the majority of his career, and then came up into the in the jersey as a move-in with his father, and was able to play pretty good in about 7 games. But you can't have enough big bodies at the defensive line. We're all aware of that. Probably one of the needs that we have heading into next year is to get some young kids able to play, right away when it comes to D-line. Rochard Burney, this kid rushed for 2,000 yards in high school. That doesn't happen very often. And he's a big, strong, powerful guy. He probably weighs 205 pounds already, and he's going to get bigger, but he runs on his toes. The kid smiles a bunch. Was all-state down in Florida. He's a guy that you watch his tape, he's going to run you over, but then he's also going to bounce off of you and outrun people. So he's got a really good combination of strength and size, and can run around pretty fast as well. Was able to get a second running back out of South Florida, Torrey Clayton, which is, he is more like Rochard than he is like Bowie and Garrison. Bowie and Garrison are guys that are, shifty guys that get in space and can make you miss and stop and start on a dime. Torrey's a little bit more, of a slasher. Has some power to him. Is not a small guy. Is going to be able to give us, some strength in the backfield, as we saw last year, starting camp with 5 backs. We were down to 2 in the bowl game. That's a position that through wear and tear, those guys, you need to play a lot of bodies. And we also played 2 or 3 bigger backs that were able to get in there and do blocking. As much 2-back sets and 3-back sets as we use, the more of those running backs we can have back there, the better. And the more of those guys that can carry the ball, the better. So you're looking at a couple of backs that we got from down there that we're pretty excited about that can do a whole bunch of different things. Travaris Copeland out of Port St. Lucie is probably got as good a feet as anybody on the roster that we have right now. The kid, he played quarterback for him. There's a whole bunch of different positions that he can play. He's probably more along the lines as a slot receiver that we can do a lot of different stuff with to get him the ball. Runs well. Was a kid that again could play a whole bunch of different positions, and those are the type of kids that we want to get, as guys that can play a whole lot of positions. He wants to play receiver, so we'll stick him in there and try to get to him the ball as much as we can. KJ Dillon. KJ was what a great kid. Is a good-looking 6'2", 195-pound guy that will smack him. He played both ways for Apopka, which is a really good program in Orlando. But has won a whole bunch of games. He's another guy that is long, is lean, that can run around, that will also strike you. And as you guys see some of these highlights that we put together for some of these guys, the one thing on that whole tape that stood out to me was when you put him on there, guys running across the middle catching the ball, the guy's knocking the heck out of him. So KJ's able to cover a lot of ground. Is a physical kid that's going to get bigger, he's going to get stronger, and is going to be a guy that's going to come in and be able to play. Mark Lewinsky is the only junior college kid that we signed this year out of Lackawanna. Is an Eastern Pennsylvania kid. He's a guy that probably gained on average 50 pounds over the last couple of years. Coming out of high school, he wasn't very developed. He was tall, was rangy. Went to Lackawanna and gained about 100 pounds. And you watch him come off the ball. He's a physical kid. He's every bit of 6'5", 6'6", 300 pounds. Has got great feet, but he plays with an attitude. And he's got 2 years of college experience already under his belt, where he can come in and will have a chance to compete for the starting left tackle spot come next year. Was important for us to at least get one junior college offensive lineman. When you look at what we have coming back from an offensive line standpoint, basically got 4 starters coming back, and then we're able to plug a guy like him in there to either be the 5th starter, or some guys that we'll have in the spring to be the 5th starter will give us some depth and will be fun to watch that unfold. Jared Harper is a safety from right down the road in Frostburg, Maryland. Was our first commit of the class. Was our most solid commit of the class. There's nobody on our list that wants to be a Mountaineer more than Jared. Probably came to every home game. Played a lot of running back for Frostburg. They won a bunch of games. He played a lot of football. He just wants to play on the defensive side of the ball, so we'll play him on at safety. But was one of the most solid kids that we had. Just a pleasure to be around. Has a big old flying WV on the side of his head here for the last couple of days. We'll keep it there, and can't wait to get him here. He'd walk here if he could go get into school and be down there in the weight room right now. Corey Harris, defensive end, good looking kid, 6'4", 230, out of Jacksonville, Florida. Is a guy that will develop into a big boy. Now he's 6'4", 230 pounds right now. Can come off the ball and get after the quarterback, which headed to the conference that we're heading into. It's going to be crucial that we have guys that can rush the passer, as we all understand that. And this is a guy that's going to, regardless of how big he is, you can see his tenacity when he comes off the ball, and his desire to get to the quarterback. Same kind of guy with Garrett Hope. Garrett Hope, 6'3", 225, out of the Woodlands, another program in the state of Texas and Houston that has won just a tremendous amount of games. You talk about Pearland High School and Katy High School and the Woodlands High School. Those three teams win as many games in the state of Texas as anybody else does. And he's a guy that transferred in a couple years ago out of Tulsa. Jenks, was it Jenks or Union? It came out of Jenks, which Jenks was also a program that won just a ton of games. And so his background from what he's been used to is good. He came in, played an outside linebacker. Is a guy that can drop into the flat, but is also a guy that can rush the passer, and is a big physical guy to the point to where he's good against the run as well. Will Johnson, tight end out of Minnesota, came on a visit in December and watched us practice and kind of how we used Tyler Urban a lot as far as a bigger body that can put his hand on the ground, that can come off and zone block, but can also run downfield and catch the ball. And watching him run up and down the basketball court there at his high school there in Minnesota, you can tell, and based on what we see on tape, he's a guy that we're not interested in just sticking his hand in the ground and watching him block. I mean, he's a guy that will be able to run a whole bunch of routes and catch the ball downfield, certainly as much as Tyler did, and probably be even more than that. Physically, he's ready to do that right now. D. Joyner, receiver out of Miami Central, moved in from Georgia, only played 1 year there in South Florida, but moved in from Georgia. Based on his junior tape in Georgia, we loved how he came in and out of his cuts, and kind of playmaker. Isn't the biggest dude, but is a playmaker, can run downfield, catch balls, really good return guy. Going into Miami Central, where they got just tons of talent, he was able to adjust really quick and get, be one of their most productive guys on the field. Helped them to a 13-1 record, but made a lot of plays on a team that has a lot of guys that can make a lot of plays. So adjusted quickly.